Hello everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. One of the most shameful, disgraceful and inexcusable things of the last 3 years of the pandemic. There have been many such things, but one of the worst and most heart-wrenching has been people dying alone. And it went on for years, way longer than anyone could have justified from the beginning of the pandemic, when maybe we didn't know what was going on. But beyond a couple of weeks, when we knew the nature of this virus, there was no excuse whatsoever, and it typifies the harshness and the cruelty of our pandemic response across the board. I want to share with you this story about a new law that people are campaigning for to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. So here is an article in the Daily Mirror, a UK publication. Angry families of 63 loved ones who died alone during the pandemic call for Glorias Law. While the government was partying through lockdown, that's true, these families were unable to say goodbye to their loved ones as they died in care homes alone and scared. Absolutely tragic. The families of 63 pensioners have released pictures of their lost loved ones to mark the third anniversary of the March 23, 2020 lockdown. They are demanding Glorias Law, which was debated in Parliament last October after a petition was signed by more than 270,000 people. And I will share the link to this article with you down below. Unfortunately, since then, the bill appears to have stalled. This law would give everyone a legal right to a care supporter who could be with them in a care home or when getting treatment in a health setting. The very fact that we would even need to debate a law like this speaks volumes of where we have gone in healthcare and how badly wrong we have gone. Because as I said, minus maybe the first week or two when people didn't know what was going on, there was absolutely no reason whatsoever for this type of harshness and preventing people from seeing their loved ones. There were easy common sense solutions. And knowing that this happened on a mass scale across many different countries makes me ashamed to be a doctor. Because think about this rationally. This transcends every single culture that has ever existed since the dawn of time. Even cavemen, when you look at paintings in caves, the most basic element of human nature is to want to be with your loved one while they are ailing on their deathbed. Families surround people who are dying to comfort them, to be with them, to hold them. And the fact that we didn't allow this is just so utterly disgraceful and shameful. Even when you read the history of medicine, I'm a big reader of the history of medicine, even during plagues like the Black Death with a 50% mortality rate, loved ones were still attending to their family members during the time that they were imminently dying. They didn't want them to die alone. And think about these thousands and thousands of people all over the world who have gone through this. Think about all the years that they were on the earth, having families, many happy memories. Maybe they had traveled the world, who knows, and then they died alone. And there was no reason whatsoever for this. We knew within a week or two the nature of this virus. We knew that people could put protective equipment on, they could put on face coverings, they could put on N95s, they could wear other clothing, they could wear gowns, they could wear gloves. And they could easily have gone and visited their loved ones. Think about it this way. In the hospital, people are going in and out of rooms all the time. Cleaners, nurses, doctors, respiratory therapists. How difficult would it have been to allow a couple of family members at the time that someone was dying to be present? And now these poor family members are left with this memory that their loved one died alone. It is really heart-wrenching. Now, during the pandemic, I worked in several different hospitals in different states in the United States, and I have to say the hospitals that I worked in thankfully were a little bit more kind and had common sense solutions to this. But there are many institutions where harshness and cruelty ruled the day. and healthcare administrators or leading physicians, whoever was making this policy, were completely and utterly inflexible. And this went on for months, even years in some circumstances, and there was no reason for it whatsoever. So what I would like to say to anybody out there who listens to this story and really feels for the people who suffered, or anyone out there listening, I'm sure there's someone who actually went through this with a family member, on behalf of the medical profession, I apologize. I am sorry that you went through this, and please know that not every doctor supported it at the time. Many doctors spoke up the whole time, and it fell on completely deaf ears, and it was cruel, it was inhumane, and it's a human rights violation. So I really do hope that this law passes in the United Kingdom. We need a similar law in the United States. I'm not hopeful that one will happen. Maybe it will happen at a state level, but it certainly won't happen at a federal level. But so many people suffered, something that we have never ever done since the dawn of civilization. And we reached those depths of stupidity and harshness, all because we couldn't find common sense, rational solutions to what was facing us. That basically typifies a lot of our response. But this is one of the most heart-wrenching stories of all, and it gets me every single time. In fact, if I had a family member who was in that circumstance, I would feel like breaking down the doors of the hospital to get in there, to be at their side. It's such a basic human instinct. And we in healthcare, well, I don't say we, meaning all doctors, because many doctors out there disagreed with this, but this happened on such a widespread scale. I know in the United Kingdom, it was an NHS rule at the time, so it basically happened all over the country. Why did we need to do that? Why did we need to add to the pain of so many people by being so inflexible, inhumane, and having zero common sense about this? That's all I've got to say about that. It riles me up every time I hear this story, and I really hope that law passes. Thanks everyone for listening. That's all I've got to say about that. Have a good weekend, everyone. Hit the like button if you like this video and the bell button for more similar videos in the future. Check out my online course and my Uncensored platform. Those links are down below. We will speak again next week.